Khabib Abdulmanapovich Nurmagomedov, born the 20th of September 1988, is a Russian former professional mixed martial artist. He competed in the lightweight division of the Ultimate Fighting Championship (UFC), where he was the longest reigning UFC lightweight champion ever, having held the title from April 2018 to March 2021. With 29 wins and no losses, he retired with an undefeated record. Nurmagomedov is widely considered to be among the greatest mixed martial artists of all time, and was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame on June 30, 2022. A two-time combat Sambo world champion, Nurmagomedov has a background in the disciplines of Sambo, Judo and wrestling. Nurmagomedov was ranked number 1 in the UFC men's pound-for-pound rankings at the time of his retirement, until being removed following his title vacation in March 2021. Fight Matrix ranks him as the number 1 lightweight of all time. Coming from the Republic of Dagestan in Russia, Nurmagomedov is the first Muslim to win a UFC title. He is the most followed Russian on Instagram, with more than 34 million followers as of December 2022. He is also a mixed martial arts MMA promoter, known for promoting the Eagle Fighting Championship (EFC). Since retirement, he has transitioned to a mixed martial arts coach and cornerman. Khabib Abdulmanapovich Nurmagomedov was born to an Avar family on the 20th of September 1988, in the village of Sildi in the Sumadinsky district of the Dagestan ASSR, an autonomous republic within the Russian SFSR, Soviet Union. He has an older brother, Magomed, and younger sister, Amina. His father's family had moved from Sildi to Karaval, where his father converted the ground floor of their two-story building into a gym. Nurmagomedov grew up in the household with his siblings and cousins. His interest in martial arts began when watching students training at the gym. Khabib's training as a child included wrestling a bear when he was 9 years old. As is common with many children in Dagestan, he began wrestling from an early age. He started at the age of 8 under the tutelage of his father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. A decorated athlete and a veteran of the Soviet Army, Abdulmanap had also wrestled from an early age, before undergoing training in Judo and Sambo in the military. Abdulmanap dedicated his life to coaching the youth in Dagestan, in hopes of offering an alternative to the Islamic extremism common to the region. In 2001, his family moved to Makhachkala, the capital of Dagestan, where he trained in wrestling from the age of 12, and Judo from 15. He resumed training in combat Sambo, under his father, at 17. According to Nurmagomedov, the transition from wrestling to Judo was difficult, but his father wanted him to get used to competing in a GI jacket. Abdulmanap was a senior coach for the combat Sambo national team in the Republic of Dagestan, training several athletes in Sambo in Makhachkala, Russia. Nurmagomedov frequently got into street fights in his youth, before focusing his attention on mixed martial arts. Khabib said that, along with his father, 3 athletes who inspired him were the American boxers Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson and the Brazilian footballer Ronaldo. Nurmagomedov made his professional MMA debut in September 2008 and compiled 4 wins in under a month. On the 11th of October, he became the inaugural Atrium Cup tournament champion, having defeated his 3 opponents at the Moscow event. Over the next 3 years, he went undefeated, finishing 11 out of 12 opponents. These included a first-round armbar finish of future Bellator title challenger Shavkat Shamkhaliyev, which marked his M1 global debut. In 2011, he competed in 7 fights for the PFC promotion, all of which he won by TKO or submission. A 16-0 record in the regional circuits of Russia and Ukraine generated interest from the Ultimate Fighting Championship (UFC) in signing Nurmagomedov. Later, Nurmagomedov's father revealed in an interview that due to a contract dispute with PFC they had 11 court cases contesting the legitimacy of Nurmagomedov's UFC contract. After losing 6 and winning 5 cases, they reached an agreement and Khabib was able to continue his career. In late 2011, Nurmagomedov signed a 6-fight deal to compete in the UFC's lightweight division. In his UFC debut, on the 20th of January 2012 at UFC on FX1, Nurmagomedov defeated Kamal Shalaris via submission in the 3rd round. Nurmagomedov next defeated Gleison Tibau on the 7th of July 2012 at UFC 148 via unanimous decision, with all 3 judges scoring the fight 30-27. Nurmagomedov's next fight was against Thiago Tavares on the 19th of January 2013 at UFC on FX7. He won via KO in the 1st round. After the fight, Tavares tested positive for drostanolone, an anabolic steroid, and received a 9-month suspension. Nurmagomedov defeated Abel Trujillo on the 25th of May 2013 at UFC 160 via unanimous decision, with all three judges scoring the fight 30-27. At the weigh-ins, Nurmagomedov came in over the permitted limit, weighing in at 158.5 lb. He was given 2 hours to cut to the lightweight maximum of 156 pounds but elected instead to surrender a percentage of his fight purse to Trujillo, and the bout was contested at a catchweight. In the course of the fight, Nurmagomedov set a new UFC record for the most takedowns in a single fight, with 21 successful takedowns out of 28 attempts. In his fifth UFC fight, on the 21st of September 2013 at UFC 165, Nurmagomedov faced Pat Healy. He dominated the fight and won via unanimous decision, with all three judges scoring the fight 30-27. Attending his first post-event press conference, UFC President Dana White praised the relative newcomer, stating, "That slam, when he just scoops him up and slams him, Matt Hughes style. That reminded me of the old Matt Hughes where he would run a guy across the octagon and slam him. The kid is exciting. We're probably going to do big things with this kid." In December, Nurmagomedov challenged Gilbert Melendez on social media, with the two then expected to face off at UFC 170 on the 22nd of February 2014. However, the bout was cancelled for undisclosed reasons, and Melendez was replaced by Nate Diaz. However, the matchup was cancelled as Diaz turned the bout down. Nurmagomedov expressed his disappointment, appearing on the MMA Hour. "If they say that they're willing to fight the best, they should fight the best. If they want, I'll take them both at once in the cage." The bout with Ferguson was rescheduled for the 16th of April 2016 at UFC on Fox 19. However, on the 5th of April, Ferguson pulled out of the bout due to a lung issue. Ferguson was replaced by promotional newcomer Daryl Horcher at a catchweight of 160 lb. Nurmagomedov won the one-sided fight by TKO in the second round. In September, Nurmagomedov signed 2 contracts for a title shot against the reigning UFC lightweight champion, Eddie Alvarez, on either the UFC 205 or the UFC 206 fight card, with Dana White confirming the bout for UFC 205. However, on the 26th of September, the UFC announced that Alvarez would instead be defending the title against Conor McGregor. Nurmagomedov voiced his displeasure on social media, calling Alvarez a bullshit champ for refusing the fight and opting for a bout with McGregor instead, accusing the UFC of being a freak show. In lieu of a title shot, Nurmagomedov next faced Michael Johnson on the 12th of November 2016 at UFC 205. Nurmagomedov dominated the fight and was heard telling Dana White to give him a title shot as he mauled Johnson, winning via submission in the third round. The bout with Ferguson was scheduled for a third time at UFC 209 on the 4th of March 2017 for the interim lightweight championship. Nurmagomedov, however, fell ill because of a botched weight cut, and the bout was cancelled as a result. Nurmagomedov faced Edson Barboza on the 30th of December 2017 at UFC 219. Nurmagomedov dominated all 3 rounds, taking Barboza down repeatedly and dominating the fight with ground and pound. He won the fight by unanimous decision, with scores of 30-25, 30-25 and 30-24. This win also earned him his first performance of the night bonus. Despite attempted negotiations to bring him back for one more fight, UFC President Dana White announced on the 19th of March 2021 that he had accepted Nurmagomedov's decision to retire and that the UFC Lightweight Championship had been officially vacated. On July 1, 2022, Nurmagomedov was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame on the International Fight Week in Las Vegas. Following his retirement, Nurmagomedov purchased the Guerrilla Fighting Championship (GFC), a Russian-based MMA promotion, for $1 million, going on to rename it as the Eagle Fighting Championship (EFC). Since retiring in October 2020, Nurmagomedov has been an active coach with American Kickboxing Academy head coach Javier Mendez. He currently coaches and corners current UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, Zubaira Tukhugov, UFC Tagir Ulanbekov, UFC Islam Mamedov, Bellator Gaji Rabadanov, Bellator Sagid Izigakhmaev, one championship, and cousins Abubakar Nurmagomedov, UFC Umar Nurmagomedov, UFC Usman Nurmagomedov, Bellator, and Bilal Muhammad at UFC 280. Nurmagomedov employs a wrestling-based style of relentless pressure against his opponents, often described as mauling. Using a variety of wrestling and judo sambo takedowns, he forces his opponents against the cage, and locks up their legs and an arm to prevent them from escaping. From this position, he exhausts his opponents by forcing his weight against them and attacks with measured strikes his opponents are often unable to defend. This was one of his many signature styles that he used to deploy to advance towards his finishing move. Throughout his career, 19 of his 29 victories had come by way of either TKO, KO or submission. Former 3-time UFC heavyweight champion and 2-time UFC light heavyweight champion Randy Couture praised Nurmagomedov as brilliant. MMA commentator Joe Rogan, a black belt in both 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, said of Nurmagomedov, "He's the most terrifying lightweight contender in the world, and he's just on such another level of grappling that the odds of beating him drop significantly after the first minute and a half." UFC referee Herb Dean stated Nurmagomedov constantly talks to his opponents during fights. As part of his Dagestani Avar culture, Nurmagomedov frequently wears a papaka hat after fights and during promotional events. He speaks several languages, including Avar, Kumyk, Russian, English, Turkish, and Arabic. As of 2019, Nurmagomedov is a third-year student at the Plekhanov Russian University of Economics. He is an avid football fan and supporter of the clubs NG Makhachkala, Galatasaray, Real Madrid and Liverpool, as well as the Russia national team. In August 2021, there was speculations going round that Nurmagomedov had signed a professional football contract with third-tier Russian side Legion Dynamo after he was seen shaking hands with the players and manager. However, a few days later Nurmagomedov denied he had signed a professional contract, instead saying he is very close to the club and just a fan. Nurmagomedov is a Sunni Muslim. In October 2020, The Guardian stated that Nurmagomedov is the second most popular Muslim athlete in the world, behind only the Egyptian footballer Mohamed Salah. The Guardian additionally stated that, since his high-profile victory over McGregor, Nurmagomedov has used his influential status to further his ultra-conservative worldview. In 2018, Nurmagomedov advocated a crackdown on nightclubs in his home region of Dagestan, and leveled criticism at a rap concert held in Makhachkala, which led to rapper Igor Krieg canceling his performances in the region. In 2019, Nurmagomedov spoke out against a play held in Dagestan that featured a scene of a scantily clad woman seducing a man. He described the play as filth, recommended that there be a governmental investigation into its production, and called for those involved to issue a public apology, which allegedly led to the producer of the play receiving threats on social media. In October 2020, Nurmagomedov criticized the president of France Emmanuel Macron in the wake of the murder of Samuel Paty, stating, "May the Almighty disfigure the face of this creature and all its followers, who, under the slogan of freedom of speech, offend the feelings of more than 1.5 billion Muslim believers. May the Almighty humiliate them in this life, and in the next." Nurmagomedov has trained with SC Bazarganova in Kizlyar, Dagestan, 2012 K Dojo, AMA Fight Club in Fairfield, New Jersey, 2012 Mamishev Fight Team in St. Petersburg, 2012 Fight Spirit Team in Kolpino, St. Petersburg, 2013, and KHK MMA Team in Bahrain, 2015, which was funded by Bahraini Prince Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa. In 2016, Nurmagomedov co-founded his own team, Eagles MMA, with support from the Dagestani billionaire Ziauddin Magomedov. After Magomedov was arrested on charges of embezzlement in 2018, Nurmagomedov used his post-fight speech at UFC 223 to appeal to Russian President Vladimir Putin for Magomedov's release from jail. Nurmagomedov has also hosted a training seminar at the Akhmet MMA Fight Club that is funded by head of the Chechen Republic Ramzan Kadyrov, who has received criticism from some quarters for his government's alleged human rights abuses. In December 2021, Nurmagomedov's manager Ali Abdelaziz publicly offered former UFC rival Tony Ferguson a grappling match against Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov married Patamat in June 2013 and they have 3 children, a daughter born the 1st of June 2015, a son born the 30th of December 2017, and a son born on the 22nd of December 2019. The first son was named Magomed, after Khabib's great-grandfather. Among Nurmagomedov's cousins are fellow UFC fighters Abubakar Nurmagomedov and Umar Nurmagomedov, and Bellator fighter Usman Nurmagomedov. In May 2020, Nurmagomedov's father and longtime trainer Abdulmanap was placed in a medically induced coma after contracting COVID-19 following a heart surgery. He died on the 3rd of July 2020 at a clinic in Moscow, at the age of 57. In October 2018, Nurmagomedov was made an honorary citizen of Grozny by the mayor of Grozny Ibrahim Zakriv after his victory against McGregor at UFC 229. He was also presented with a Mercedes car by Chechny's head Ramzan Kadyrov, funded from the Akhmed Kadyrov Foundation, and his father Abdulmanap was awarded the title of Honored Worker of Physical Culture of the Chechen Republic by Kadyrov. On 5 December 2019, head of the Republic of Dagestan Vladimir Vasilyev awarded Nurmagomedov and his father, Abdulmanap, the Order for Services to the Republic of Dagestan for their significant contributions to sports in Dagestan.